know what time it is.
How it all works.
Come on.
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 What up, what up, what up?
It's so good to be back. Another Monday, another show. I am excited. You guys saw Desiree during the countdown. She's ready to go, man. She's got nuggets of wisdom for you guys, man. Let me tell you, she's got an experience and her story in terms of how she arrived at this space is so interesting. So I'm excited to bring her on. Definitely somebody that I have watched and seen some of her content and her videos. We've even done a collab video, and you might see some of that a little later. I don't know. Stick around. So it's good to see everybody, man. Take a moment right now to share and hit that like button. I'm pausing right now because I want to make sure that those of you that are on the live right now take a second to just hit that like button and share the stream. I mean, if you know somebody that's trying to level up in their live streaming, they're looking at different platforms that they can use for live streaming and using their live stream for business, you're going to want to be in this space, man. You're going to want to be in this conversation. You're going to want to take part in what's happening right here. So just a word of welcome from your host. So good to be back on another Monday with the How It All Works family. Let me see who's in the chat. I see Desiree's there. That's what's up. I love the fact that she's in the chat talking. That's so cool. Robert Ginyard's here. Blind Guy, his wife, they're live. David Hunt, Dr. Elo. This is cool. We got a good amount. Camille Sprinkle is here. This is what's up. Bryant Taylor, Sharona Drake. Man. Alicia Way says, we live. What's good, E? What's good? It's good to see you. Oh, Albert's in. He says, welcome all. Listen, the whole crew is here. They're assembling. Take a second, share the stream. Let's see here. What do we got? What do we have on deck? So you guys have seen the flyer. Excited to have Desiree on today. We got Walter Jeanette next week. And let's just take a look at some of their quotes. So this is Desiree's quote, right? And I'm excited that we're going to be able to dive into that in just a second. But make sure you tune in next week for Walter Jeanette. And I've actually used this line several times in the past week. I'm not new to this. You're just new to me. I love that quote. So I'm excited to have Walter Jeanette on. And if you haven't checked them out, man, do your homework on these guests that we're going to have on, because they are beasts in their own right. They know what they're doing. They keep it. Their channels are doing well. Let me just say it that way. And they are building up a following. They're providing value in ways that is great and phenomenal. And that's why we want them to come on. That's why we want to invite them on the show. We want to introduce them to you and allow you to, glean some of that wisdom from them as well. So excited about that. Really excited about that, man. I'm going to say just one time before we get started. If you haven't already, consider membership, man. Membership on buymeacoffee.com/KirkR Nugent. That's where we're doing our membership. That's where we're doing our value adds. We will have an after party, if you will, just a quick 20-30 minute QA with myself and Desiree right after the show. It's going to be fun, but that's on Zoom, and the tickets for that, you will be able to get those on BMAC. So check that out real quick if you haven't already. Take a look, see if there's something that's there. I'm looking in my chat just to see who else is here. David Hunt says shared, #shared. Thank you so much. Carlos Phoenix is here. He says morning. My assumption is Carlos is watching from another part of the world. BT says, I needed that quote earlier today. I will use it. Yes, Walter Jeanette, that quote, man, it speaks to a lot of us. But man, listen, I'm not gonna prolong this thing. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to get into. I'm excited about this conversation we're going to have with Desiree. And I'm going to just go ahead and hit our intro, and then we're going to see her right after that intro. Welcome. Desiree, welcome to How It All Works Convos and Collabs. How are you?
I'm fantastic. You have a really great opening. Production level is on point. Like,
Thank
get that
you.
together, my friend.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. Listen, when you're doing live video, it's kind of like editing a video. Just drop the different pieces on the timeline, have your stream deck, have it queued up, boom, just go for it. But man, I thank you so much. This is definitely a work in progress, man. I appreciate you for saying that. How it all works, family. I want you to, you know what we do. We have to greet our guests. So I want you to give a warm HIW greeting to Desiree Rose Martinez as she has come. Let me see something in the chat. I see hands are going up. People are saying, welcome, Desiree. I love it. David Gum says, I appreciate the info you provide, sir. Charles Jackson Media says, Walter's the man. Kanik says, welcome, Desiree. Saba puts her hands up. People are clapping. Desiree, welcome to How It All Works.
I'm excited to be here. Like I said, your community gets it, man. I like how you got trained and everything. It's good work.
Great. No. This is definitely a community movement, man. It's so good to be able to jump in here. I'm gonna go to a different scene real quick because I want to show something to the folks who are watching. Folks that are watching, check this out. So this is her website. This is her website. Links are in the description of the video on YouTube. Did I mention that links are in the description of the video on YouTube?
I don't think we didn't get it.
So if you're watching on Facebook, we appreciate you watching on Facebook. Make your way over to YouTube. We need the numbers on YouTube, and we're trying to listen. For those that have been following the channel, we're like, I don't know, 30 or so away, 30, 40 away from 3,000 subscribers. So come on, let's get there. Let's get there. Desiree, how many? Last I checked, you were somewhere in your subscriber count. What was the subscriber count? I don't remember now.
Just under 22,000.
That's correct. I knew it was over 10K, and I was like, no, it's way over 10K. 22,000 subscribers. That's phenomenal. Great work. I wanted everybody to see your website, MissDesireeRose.com. This is your personal page, and then you also have a business page, which is also in the description, and that is this site here, all in one social media. So I wanted everybody to be able to see that. Listen, we're just introducing you to Desiree today, right? And then the last one I'm going to show before she takes over and answers our first question, which I just put up on the screen, is this one, and this link is also in the description of the video on YouTube. So make sure you go and click that link. This is a great book. Start, Suck, Get Better. I feel like this is the title for a sermon that I've preached multiple times, because this is literally my mantra. It's like, you cannot get around the terrible live streams or the bad part. You just got to start, suck, and get better. I love this. So Desiree, I'm going to shut up for a little bit. I'm going to probably just scroll around on your webpage, but take a second and introduce yourself to the folks. Tell them a little bit about you and who you are, your relationship to live streaming, to YouTube, to social media, to marketing. Yeah.
It's actually fun. Like, I mean, I don't need to. Like, you're a fantastic publicist. Like, I should just like, hype man like you for everywhere that I go.
Listen,
so just thank you so much for being here, y'all. I am Desiree Martinez. I've been a social media marketer since 2009. I got into this crazy like online social space because all of these old people that I kept meeting as a new college grad kept asking me what this Facebook thing was. They're like, what's this Facebook thing? Like, my kids keep talking about it. I got this invite. Like, I don't know what to do here. And so I used it as a networking tool. Like, I would be like, hey, let's get together. Maybe I can get you to like sell you my graphic design skills. And in turn, like, I'll teach you how to use Facebook. And like, that's how like all of this happened. And so someone one day was like, Desiree, you should do this as a business. And I was like, dude, no one's going to pay me to be on Facebook. And I eat my words every day. That's literally what I paid to do. And so, like, if you fast forward to like where like things evolved in 2015, I opened up my agency all in one social media. I was very like freelance, like solopreneur styling it up for those 5-6 years. But my husband, I married my boyfriend. He became my husband. He joined the Air Force, and we got moved to this small town in Texas. And this small town in Texas did not like to hire military spouses. I actually grew up with military kids, so it was like really frustrating. This is like an issue my mother dealt with back in like the early 90s. And I was like, why is this still an issue? And so I was like, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach military spouses how to be social media managers. And then I'm going to put them to work doing social media work. So I developed like this whole packaging situation. I made it really easy for us to sell it and make it replicatable and systemized it. And so we've been doing that ever since September 2015. But how I got onto YouTube and this thing we call Livestream is military life. Like we got orders to South Korea. And I was like, well, how am I supposed to keep growing this agency and putting these military spouses to work if I live on the other side of the world where I can't like do business?
Right.
And so I found YouTube. I got this awesome book by Amy Schmittauer Landino called Vlog Like a Boss. I have it on my desk somewhere. And
Vlog Like a Boss.
Showed me
That's
that
great. That's a great book.
It is. It was the first YouTube book I ever read. And I was like, showed me that I could use YouTube to solve problems that people have. And in turn, I could grow like an email list, establish myself as an expert, and get leads to my business. And so once we got settled and I launched my YouTube channel August of 2017, along with a podcast I had at the time called Marketing for Your Boring Business. And it just like worked really well. I made a bunch of really terrible videos. So you can totally go see on my YouTube channel. Like my first video that's up there that's like on this like track. I'm like wearing a tank top. You can see my bra. I have way too much makeup on. I live in Korea where they like don't believe in air conditioning and it was like super hot. So I'm like sweating and I have the webcam like on my laptop and I talk with my hands as you can see and I was hitting the desk and it was like shaking and it was echoing and it was just all of like I have like really awesome like top down fluorescent lighting. Like it was a mess and it was just a mess. I tried to get better every single time I could. And now, we're up to 3.5, almost 4 years into this. And I can legitimately say I get a lead every single day that comes from my YouTube channel.
Yes.
For our service-based business. And so like, that's what I do. And I talk a lot about live streaming and social media solving problems. And I have a podcast now called The Women of YouTube, where we share the stories of women YouTubers to inspire women to start and keep creating on YouTube. And
nice.
Just a lot of like good things. It just takes time and patience and learning how to appropriately let yourself.
Listen, I want to just jump in and say for those that are listening, there's just so much value that has already been shared in the 12 minutes that we've been live. It's amazing. She said the phrase, I figured out that I could help people solve problems with YouTube. Like I could help people solve problems with YouTube. I've never heard anybody put it so simply, so succinctly. That's it. Like nail meet hammer. Like she completely just put it right in those words for us. And I think there's a lot of people who struggle to see that connection, of how does this work? And I am here to tell you that I quit my job in May of last year and went full time as an entrepreneur working with my wife. We have a business, and those that follow the channel already know that. But what many of you don't know is that I would say 90% of the business that we get on the live video strategy, media consulting side of the business, which is the side that I manage, comes from my YouTube channel. I literally get people saying, How It All Works, season 1, episode 10, I want that layout. If they make it that simple. And I think this is, as I've said this before, it becomes your digital storefront, right? You're able to showcase what you can do and how it can be done with no limits, with no strings attached. You can do it your way. And then people can see that, consume that, and make a decision as to whether they want to do business with you. And that's such a great thing. And she talked about growing her list. I mean, this is a masterclass already. So I'm excited. I am excited. Desiree, wow.
I'm happy to answer.
Wow. Yeah. And listen, I'm looking in the chat as well. Kanika's already telling folks, hey, don't forget to like the video. Appreciate that. The beginning struggles of live stream is real. Charles Jackson Media said that, and I think everybody in this space can resonate. That is so true. So yeah, right off the bat, we have our questions. We have some questions that we want to get to, but we want to make sure that you guys, drop your questions in the chat, put a Q in front of it. I'll make sure to, put it aside, and we will get to that question. So anything that you want to ask about anything that she just mentioned. It doesn't just have to be about live stream. Remember, this is Convos and Collabs, so we're having a conversation, but let's let this needs to be three-way, right? The two of us on screen and you guys in the chat. Let's do it.
I have a pretty different approach too to like using live streaming and YouTube around business. Like so many people, so many educators talk so much about like data and piggybacking and keywords and all, which is important, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, I'm in this for the business, not the other parts that are secondary.
Yeah, that's a big point as well. Understanding what your end goal is and what you are looking to get out of it is really critical. So there are people who just want to get into it for the fame. I don't know that they are going to be successful, or maybe they will be. I don't know. But most people that are going into it have a specific end goal in mind, and I'm always encouraging people to keep that first and foremost. What do you want to get out of this thing? That's so good. Let me throw this second question up on screen here, because I know there are some streamers out there, and we already touched on the concept of being a beginner live streamer, right? So from your experience with streaming platforms, because we talked before we went live about StreamYard, BeLive, several other platforms that you've tried out. What are some key things beginner streamers should know? Even as you're evaluating platforms, what types of things are you looking for?
Oh man, like when you're getting started, it's a whole beast. Like I feel like when you're getting started, you need to be very clear about like what is the point of my live stream. Like you want to know, like if I'm going live, it has to with everything in marketing, like you have to, I think, have a goal attached. There has to be purpose tied to your business that is the reason you're putting something on the internet. If I'm creating a video, if I'm creating a blog post, if I'm doing a social media post, I have specific goals I'm attaching to them. And those goals are not always going to be things like I need a sale, right? They're going to be things like sometimes I just want engagement. Sometimes I just want attention. Sometimes I want to establish my growth. Sometimes I want someone to go watch a video or get on my email list or join my membership or whatever these things are. And so I think that you have to apply the same principles of marketing that you do to a live stream. Like, what is the purpose of this live stream? What is like the reason I'm doing this? Right now, sometimes your reasons could be, I'm just trying to figure out how to make this work and trying to figure out like how this tool works, how my internet works, what my camera looks like how this whole thing is, because the ultimate goal is I want to be able to use this to convert this thing. Right. And so it's just kind of figuring all of that out. And I think that when you're getting started, knowing what your reason for doing what you're doing is super important. And then if I had to like give a follow-up to it, I was like, have a plan, like a run of show, even a run of show that's just like bullet points of what you need to talk about based on the title of your video is going to like move mountains for you. Yeah. So many people will go live and like not know what they're doing or what they're trying to say or how they're going to make these things happen. And it can be really scary and hard and all of these different things. So knowing what, even me, when I do my YouTube videos, like I've done legit hundreds of YouTube videos at this point. I bullet point out everything I'm doing, like when it comes to my live streams or my videos, because I need to know like what I'm getting myself into. My YouTube channel or my podcast, I have a base of questions and a flow I always kind of work through. And I let usually the conversation like leads itself to the points I need to make. Right. But I always know how I start, how I end, and what are like my key questions I have to ask. And so knowing that, having that structure in place is going to save you so much time. And it's going to show an immense amount of respect for your audience's time. The one commodity on this earth that we cannot like get back is his time. So someone giving you their eyeball time watching your live stream, like everyone watching this right now, I'm so grateful for your time and our time together. So please ask me questions so I can give you value for that time.
Absolutely.
Like that's just how I think about it. It's why I talk really fast. It's why I take out my breathing when I'm editing. Like I'm like, I gotta get to the point. I gotta get to this. Like I try really hard not to ramble. And so that's how I really think through like why it's so important to have like that run of show or that bullet points of what you're going to talk about so that you can have pacing, respect your audience's time, and accomplish the goal that you're trying to within your video.
So good. So good. You know, one of the things that even when I talk with clients about let's say a lot of my clients are doing 1-day conferences, virtual conferences, stuff like that. But when we go over their run sheet or run of show, and I ask them, so how do you want to get from here to here? That question, like 9 times out of 10, always stumps them. Like, what do you mean? Like, how are you going to, you have this on the program. Like, how are you going to get from this one to this one? And they're like, I don't know. And see, those are the kinds of things you want to, as you're thinking through what it is you want to achieve with your live stream, with your broadcast, with your video, whatever it is you want people to consume, you want to make sure that it's methodical, it's intentional, it's thought through. You've kind of walked that space and said, this is the experience I want people to have. Everything. One of the examples I constantly use is Amazon, right? Their user experience department is probably one of the biggest departments in the entire company. And user experience for a company like Amazon, you would think, like, what does that have to do with? It's from the time you thought of the thing, searched for it, found it on Amazon, to the whole process from you thinking about it to clicking purchase. They have walked that experience multiple times, and they want it to be as smooth as possible. So in your live stream, you want to make sure that process is as smooth as possible as well. And I cannot agree with Desiree more about being intentional about that part, bullet pointing your stuff out, making sure you've thought it through yourself, and then you know, it's so great to have it as guardrails before, because things can happen in the live stream and you're like, wait a minute, where am I? You know, you've lost your space or your place, and you're just like, okay, back to my run of show.
What was I talking about again?
I
never wanted to say that. I never want to say that. And what was I talking about again? What was the point of this question? Why are we here? Like, those are not things that just means that you've lost control of your situation.
Absolutely. That is definitely good there. I'm gonna put up an audience question real quick.
Sure.
An audience question, just because I'm wanting to kickstart some engagement out there. Respect the audience's time. That's gold. It looks like some of the comments are coming in still, but not in Ecamm for some reason. So that is weird.
I thought that was just me.
I'm seeing that. I'm just seeing, like, I went over to another screen where I have some other comments, and I'm like, oh, there are comments. I'm just not seeing them. So I can't put this on screen, but Corey and Lakita are asking this question. What exactly do you mean by live stream tiers? Do you mean moving from generic YouTube live to better streaming platforms, or just getting our act together to stream professionally? So, and there's a couple other comments that I want to just highlight here as well. David Gum says, I watch a lot of Desiree content to learn how to make overlays in StreamYard and how to use StreamYard. Thank you. And Charles Jackson Media says, there's some jokes about how it all works. I love that. Already like the video. David Hunt says, a couple of people are saying what's up. I'm glad that I have 2 ways of getting these comments so I can catch back up. But Blind Guy, his wife, their life. What I mean by the question is, there are different tiers in terms of live streaming platforms, right? And one of the things that I'm constantly being asked is, what's the difference between Wirecast and Restream? Like, what's the difference between Ecamm and StreamYard? What's the difference between OBS and vMix? And the major differences that you can find between them are the tiers, right? So tier 1 is your mobile device. There's nothing between you and going live. It's just tier 1. There's no overlays. It's just you and your device and you're live, right? This is your Instagram live method, your Facebook live method with your mobile device. That's tier 1. Tier 2 is StreamYard and BeLive and Melon App and Restream and all your web-based streaming platforms. That's your tier 2s. Tier 3s require some horsepower on your computer, right? It's not web-based. It requires some horsepower on your computer. And so that tier 3 platform is like a vMix or an OBS or an Ecamm. It's installed, the encoder's installed. It requires a really good, fast, high-speed internet connection. And if you don't have it, it will disconnect and your stream will be over. So tier 3 is a different beast, all right? And so you kind of, want to make sure you understand what those different tiers are. And again, that's why I wanted to ask the question, because I think a lot of people, somebody will say to me, hey, what are you using right now? And why do you use that one over this one? I use both of them in different scenarios, just depending on what the live stream is going to call for. And again, this goes back to what Desiree was saying. I know I'm talking a lot here.
Go ahead.
The reason for understanding which platform to use at which time is going to come back to your run sheet, your run of show, is going to come back to what's the purpose of what you're doing in your show when you're going live. And so in these intimate settings with just me and Desiree, I use this platform. But if I've got 10 people on screen, I'm definitely going to use StreamYard. It just handles it better. So that's great, man. That's great. I'm looking to see if anybody else has any.
I got some point. So I feel like the tier thing also has to do with like equipment, right? Like there's the tool that we live stream through, and then there's like how like what the gear is like that goes into it. And so I did a live stream with StreamYard. Like I was very much like when you sent me an eCam link because I'm Team StreamYard. But when I talk about gear, I did a live stream with Roberto Blake last week, and he was like, "Man, what camera are you using? Like your quality is fantastic." And I was like, my Logitech 1080p, and I have like the webcam settings app on my computer to help me adjust like my gain and
that's right,
like basically it puts like a camera lens
on it,
control onto it. And he was like, "I'm over here with my like $3,000 camera trying to like you're using this like $100 thing." I'm like, yeah, I got it like on a Black Friday sale. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't have to be complicated to get the job done. One of the things that I think that happens in YouTuber space and live streaming space, when the more you get into something and you start to learn about something, Will Smith has the term for it. It's YouTube stupid. You start buying crazy gear and things like, oh, that looks so cool, I'm going to try this. And you're like, I don't need this. Like, I literally have like a box of stuff that I'm like, I don't know why I have like a gimbal and like a green screen fabric and all this other crap. And I'm like, I don't need a 360 camera. Like I literally do talking head videos in my redone master closet. That's now my office. Like,
I love it.
You don't have to be fancy. Like, I feel like Kirk, you're super fancy with like your purple and pink lighting behind you and all that whole process. And I'm like, but people think I'm fancy because I have like LED lights here on both sides and I have a remote that turns them on and off. And have a mic. But I'm like, it really is about what gets the job done. Like,
that's it.
You don't need to, and you shouldn't be super techie about it. What's most important is that like, we can hear you, we can see you, and we're not distracted by what's going on around you. Like, those are the limitations for me with the live stream. And you have to have, if you're going to splurge on anything, it better be some high-speed internet and a really long Ethernet cable going from like the back of your computer to wherever your router is.
That is so good. That is so good. Man, the comments are lighting up. People are saying, the run of show is so important. David Hunt says, thank you for creating such great content, Desiree. He also said, have mercy. It doesn't have to be complicated to get the job done. Right? He's quoting you right there. That's so awesome. David Gums is saying, I want to help my church build their live stream to drive engagement. My question is, where do we need to start driving that engagement? Is it with content or interacting with the audience?
I am actually going to do one before you, David.
Yeah.
You need to have promotion.
Yeah.
There's no point in going live if no one's going to show up, right? Like Kirk does a fantastic job. Like I got this whole like email and kit situation to like share with my audience. He's telling you guys to share and and like the posse that's on here, like thriving us through this and like they're sharing and bringing new people in. Like if no one knows you're going live, this question is null and void. So the better question I think that we need to ask, Dave, is like, what is your like promotion for your church's live streams? Like, what does that look like? Are you emailing the list 3, 2, 1 day of before you're going live? Have you trained your audience? Like how Kirk has done with you guys. Have you trained your congregation to know?
Yeah.
I need to be on Facebook. Friday is at 4:30 p.m. to get my dose of Jesus before my sinful weekend, like whatever that may be.
Whatever it might be.
you have to like they have to know, you have to train your audience. Like, we are trained. You go to church to the 9 a.m. or the 10:30 a.m. service, right? Like, that's what we do in the product. Like, when I grew up as a Methodist, like, those are the times that we went to church. We knew that's when we had to show up. But you have to do the exact same thing with your live streams. You have to do the exact same thing with your YouTube channel. You do the exact same thing with anything you're producing. Like, when are you doing this? And build from there. And once you get into your live stream, then that's when you can do like the drive the engagement. Driving engagement can be simple things like, who's here for the first time, high five, who had a rough week, who needs prayers, like, put those in the comments, like, whatever, like that, maybe in the comments. And then that's how you build very simple engagement. And then you do like what we're doing, which is like, ask us questions, please. Or give a question. We want answers. Like, if you're asking the sermon, like, maybe you have whatever your sermon is about, have a question attached to your sermon or your message or whatever it may be.
That's good.
Like, then you can put that into that could be the question of the live stream. And then you can pull them in at the end. Like, oh, Mary's saying this, Joe's saying this. Oh, good point. Whatever, like, to get that participation. And I think that is what can be incredibly unique about like what you're doing with your church service and stuff, because I grew up going to church and no one ever talked to me.
Wow.
So I would like from like a pulpit situation, like I sat, I listened, and I left.
That's good.
So make it interactive.
You are touching on so much right now. That is you're pressing all the buttons, and I think that's so good.
Let's sum it up, right? So number one, make sure you have a strong promotion game. Train your audience to know when to show up. And number three, tell them what to do. Yes. And I would add like an asterisk to tell them what to do. Tie it in to the message, purpose, sermon that you're putting on.
Excellent. And if you can, I mean, I don't see a lot of faith-based institutions, organizations doing this, but I'm certain that Desiree will agree. Growing your list is valid even for a church. So
growing your list is valid for anything, anywhere.
Grow your list because. Go ahead.
I don't care if you're like, I collect ants. Like, whatever you do, you need to have a list, because it is the only way that you can communicate to your audience on your terms.
Yes, on your terms.
And even that isn't even 100%, because we all track like our numbers. If we're not, well, I have a whole YouTube channel about that. But click-through rates and open rates really matter. And that has to do with like how your emails are being perceived by systems and the people that are receiving them. The stupid promotions box and spam box is like everyone's nightmare, right? So even that isn't, but you have more control over your list of people than you do YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, live streaming, any of that stuff.
Yeah. And that ties back into your first point in terms of promotion. If you have a great list, that becomes a critical part of how you promote your events as well. So, man, the comments are you're in the comments as well, Desiree. So you're seeing them. It's so good. What is your marketing strategy? #gems from Desiree. I love that, David Hunt. That's so cool. I thought I saw one other question. I think Blind Guy, his wife, their life asked a question.
Thanks for the details on the tiers. How does she feel about mics? What's her favorite experience with sound, and what is she using now? Okay, here's my experience with mics. You should have one, even if it's earbuds or like something with the cable. Remember, it doesn't have to be expensive to work. My super fancy old school Blue Yeti I bought off of eBay for $55 when I wanted to start doing my podcast in 2017.
Yep.
And I got real fancy, and I bought like this like extendy arm thing. You can't see it very well, but it's like I can like push it aside. It's not like a stand. Yeah. I mean, a little fancier with that, but like as far as like my favorite, like when it comes to sound, like it's just you got to keep it simple. Sound's really important to me because again, I have a podcast. I do these live streams. My biggest struggle is sound with my YouTube channel because I'm not using this. I'm figuring out, I'm really busy because I run an agency. So I don't get to work on my own stuff as much as I'd like to, but I'm trying to figure out how to like make my camera record through the computer and use like this mic to do it. I'm sure it's a whole system. I'm sure there's like a really simple tutorial somewhere that someone could give me, but like even I have things I'm learning. But yeah, this is what I do. It's like, and mics don't have to be complicated or expensive. Like wait for a good Black Friday sale, or if you're like really impatient, go to eBay.
Right.
Or Marketplace, your local Facebook Marketplace. They'll have stuff. You just have to search for it.
Yeah, you're absolutely, you answered that question so well, and I think that's the piece that I want people to walk away with. I don't want you to miss this point. You've got to start where you. It doesn't have to be a major expense. It doesn't have to be a major investment. Start with where you are. Keep it simple as you possibly can, and work it through from that angle. David Hunt says that's a collab right there. Maybe David, maybe that is the collab. I wanna do something real quick.
I want to answer something real quick before we lose track.
Yeah,
of it.
please.
So David
Hunt
Hunt also asked me, "What is your marketing strategy?" Funny story.
Oh, okay.
If you go to my YouTube. If you go to my YouTube channel, I literally have a video that says "Steal my social media strategy." So
Good.
I lay it all out there for you in a video, and you can just take it, because I don't make money from giving you information. I make money from you being too overwhelmed by it, and like I just need you to do it. So
that's
it's yours.
the entire premise of my YouTube channel. You just said it in one sentence. I will say this. Her YouTube channel is also in the description down below, so make sure you hit that up. And speaking of her YouTube channel, I want to go ahead and run this video real quick. And this is a collab video that Desiree spearheaded and brought in all these awesome creators. And I don't know how I made the cut, but I got in there. So I'm going to show you this clip right now. The two main pieces are some of what Desiree had to say and some of what I had to say. So let's enjoy that clip right.
I talk about live streaming a lot on this channel, and I will be the first to admit that there are a lot of other really amazing live streaming experts out there to learn from. So in this video, I brought together 10 of my friends and experts to help give you more tips and trends that you can expect for your live streaming game in 2021. Hi, my name is Desiree, and if you're looking to grow your business, better social media and content marketing, take action now. Hit that subscribe button and the bell below. I truly believe that live streaming is one of the easiest ways to create video content for any business. You don't have to worry about editing, you don't have to worry about all the extra bells and whistles. You can just go live and share your genius and truth and make the magic happen. Now we're going to talk to Kirk, and he's going to make you dig a little bit deeper than you expected.
Live streaming tips and trends for 2021. So here, what I want to share today is exploration. That's the term, that's the word for me on my live stream. And what I'm saying for you as you're watching this and you're thinking about 2021, think about exploring. Think about yourself as an explorer. Think about being a lifelong learner. Think about being someone who pushes past the artificial limits that society and ourselves have placed on us. Give yourself permission to do something new. For 2021 live streaming trends, it's your boy Kirk Nugent, the Geek Speaker Preacher, sharing with you one word, and that is be an explorer.
Exploration is my favorite part about being able to do business on the internet. There's so much to learn. There's so much to see. There's more to do. Awesomely creative people out there. And exploring what's going on in your industry and in your niche on all the platforms is going to be an awesome way for you to stay relevant, to stay current, and also to create some really cool stuff to put on the internet. And until next time, I'll see you soon.
I always laugh when I see the GIFs. My editor puts those in for me. He's like, I couldn't not, like, you just were on that like rolling track.
No, that was good.
It was good.
It was good. The Lion King reference, I loved it. Anyway, yeah, man, exploration. Just kind of pushing those boundaries, moving through amazing stuff. I see Albert asked you what part are you from the north. That's so cool. Just by different words, different terminology, people are picking up some stuff. That is so awesome. All right, cool. So I want to get this other question on here, because I'm realizing we're the 20-minute mark here. So I want to get this other question up here. And I think we've already touched on this in some respects, but you know, this is a question that I get a lot, and I feel like you, because of your background in marketing, it's you're qualified. You're perfectly positioned to be able to answer this question. What are some of the effects of live streaming for brands and businesses? I know this is a question I get a lot, and I'm just wondering, what is the simplest answer to that question that allows people to really make the connection?
This is a complicated question. I think it's important to preface, live streaming doesn't work for every business. Live streaming does not work for my business. I have tried so many times, but my content is very much around like solving specific problems. And so I do not have a very big repeat community. I do have my email list. I do have people that are loyal to the channel. Like there's no denying that. But like my margins, YouTube has a new feature out that shows you like your percentages of like repeats. Like they're like basically the closer the lines are, the better you are. My gap is massive. It's like the bottom of it and the top of it. Like it's insane. But it's like it doesn't work for my business because I have a video about like how to use Marketplace, and like anyone can do that, not just like business owners and service-based businesses. So I feel like it's important to go into, you should test live streaming for your business and see if it works. And then by testing, I don't mean do a video, no one shows up and never do it again. What I mean is like give it a really good like 3 to 6 month time and adjust it as best as you can to see if it's the right fit for you. And sometimes it could be as simple as like the title isn't working or the time isn't working or what you're talking about isn't working, and making those really thoughtful adjustments, right? However, if live streaming is right for your business, holy schmoly, the community that you will build will be your biggest advocates, and like you will cut out so much marketing needs because you're just going to have this army of people who are managing your word of mouth marketing for you. Like, well, if you don't know Kirk, you don't know live streaming. Like if you don't know Desiree, like how have you even been able to survive on social media? Like these are like the things you want people to say about you. And that's where the true power of live streaming is in the community. One of the things I've talked about with some of my friends who do live streaming very successfully is, you've made it in live streaming when the chat has its own world happening away from like away from what you're doing. So it's like people are answering the questions for you, and like you have like a whole moderator situation, and like especially if like you use like YouTube memberships, which is really give or take if you want to. Like you can have like extra special things, like where they can have like little special icons and stickers, and super chats are really nice, and like it takes on this life of its own. Like I have a friend I interviewed for the Women of YouTube podcast. We just became obsessed with each other. But she talks about the law and pop culture. And so she does these intense live stream. It's called like, it's like coffee and something. Her name is Emily. She's the best. And she breaks down. I'm definitely going to look her up. She's coming up. I think she's one of my next couple of interviews on the Women of YouTube podcast, but she's awesome. And her live streams just take on this whole like world of their own in the chats, like multiple conversations happening in the chat while she's also having these 2-hour live streams breaking down like, why Nas should or shouldn't have made devil shoes with the branded logo, right? Like that kind of like situation and all that kind of stuff. Like she breaks it all down, like, like the Kanye West and the Kanye and Kim divorce, and there's thousands of different things. And so it's really great and insightful, and you learn a lot, but it's got its own community. She calls them the law nerds. Like it's a whole thing. So when you can build a community like that and that loyalty, you've made it. And you really don't need to do anything else for your marketing, if we're honest.
That is gold. That is gold. I love that answer. And I love the fact that you kind of gave them both sides, right? Because it's so true. It depends on your profile, depends on your industry, depends on your vertical market. Where you are is critical to know if this is actually going to work for you. But a lot of people, when they say they've tested it, a lot of times they've only done the 1 or 2 live streams and nobody showed up, and they didn't really advertise it. They didn't really put their best foot forward. So it's
9 out of 10 times when something doesn't work in marketing, it's because they did it wrong at the start, or their launch was bad, or like whatever it is. Like there's always a reason something didn't work right. Yeah,
and I couldn't agree with you more. That is so good. That is so good. I'm just looking at our comments here. A lot of A lot of people are saying, if you don't know Kirk, you don't know lives. Wow, this is amazing. Listen, I've got a couple of minutes left here. I've got one last question for you, and then we got to figure out what collab we can do. Another collab, I should say. But this is the question, and even as we get ready for this, I want to tell the people who are watching online that she's going to talk a little bit more about the book in a second once we get done with this question. So make sure you are around for that. Again, that link is in the description of the video on YouTube. But yeah, so for those who have already started streaming, let's give them one, what's your number one tip of how they can level up? But they've already started streaming. You can see that some of the people here had some slightly technical questions about the mic, about the run show, how can I advertise, those kinds of things. These are people who have a live stream. They're not beginning. They're at a point now where they're like, okay, what is my methodical next step?
Repurpose your content. So,
oh wow, that's a good one.
If I besides stop doing shit you hate, being on my tombstone when I die, if I could tattoo on like my forehead, it would be create less and do more. You're going to be able to stop being on this hamster wheel, always trying to come up with something to say, always come up with something to create. You've literally spent this time, like you and I, it'll be like an hour we've spent together.
Right.
You could chop this up into so many pieces of content. This could be a whole month of content for you between micro videos and quote images and engaging polls and text and turning into blog posts. Each one of these major questions could be its own short form clip that you turn into something on social that solves you could take this question for those who've already started, how do I level up my live stream, right? That could be the title of the video, and you have this answer that we put together, and you could add in some extra B-roll and stuff to keep it flashy and sexy and stuff if you really want to, but repurpose your content out of this live stream. And now it does require you to multitask a bit through the live stream. You want to definitely have a little notebook and kind of write down okay, Desiree said this at 5 minutes at 5:46.
Right.
I want to make sure that I make this into a quote. Create less, do more, right? That kind of a thing. So that kind of working through having the notebook by your side to track that kind of information. Or if you are in a fortunate position where you have a team member or you hire an agency like mine or Kirk's, we can take that live stream and turn it into multiple pieces of content for you to get more life out of it, turn it into a blog post, turn it into social posts, turn it into Instagram, Facebook, all of the things, all of the places. You're going to be able to get so much more out of it. That is how you work smart, not hard. That is how you create less and do more. As someone who creates 2 videos every single week on YouTube and a short now, because that's what we have to do.
That's what we got to do.
And I have a podcast every week. And I have to run my agency. And I have to do all the other things I'm doing, like be a sponsored creator and all of the other back-end things, I'm trying to put together a women in video event and all kinds of stuff. There's always other things that you're doing once you hit entrepreneurship. I don't want to have to work more than I have to. I put so much work into my YouTube videos. Why don't I just do more with them? I turn them into quote graphics and I natively upload them to different places and I do stuff you just work smart, not hard, y'all. I promise. It'll save you so much stress.
That's good. Yeah. The one piece of content, use it multiple times. I absolutely love that. And what you said is absolutely right. Even as the hashtag, as somebody put up a hashtag, I was like, yep, that's going to get repurposed. So look for that clip in a couple of weeks or months.
Repurpose your content.
Repurpose your content. I absolutely love that
smart,
answer.
Not hard.
Wow.
Create less. Yeah, I got a lot of these. I could go all day.
Listen, I'm going to try and pull up the book again. Let me see if we can get to this screen. There it is. Start, Suck, Get Better. This is the title of the book. It is at a really great price. I would highly recommend that you go out and grab that. If you have enjoyed the time that we have spent together already with Desiree, you are going to enjoy this book. So, Desiree, anything you want to, one little tidbit, one little sneak peek item from the book that people can expect just to whet their appetite?
Sure. So my book is about it's my memoir over the past, like starting my business, like how I led to it, and what it's been like. And it isn't so much about business. It's a lot about when life happens around you while you're doing business.
Mm-hmm.
So becoming a mom, joining the Air Force, moving to another country, starting an agency. You know, like I started my agency and then a month later, my daughter was born prematurely and I had to run. I literally was being wheeled into the ER to have her cut out of me while emailing my client saying, hey,
Wow.
it's going to be a delay in this, right? So, I mean,
Wow.
There's a lot in here, but I have these little subsections that I really like that I've added to the book that are stories from other people. So I was fortunate enough to like have a really great network of people to add stories into this to make it like extra value-y and learn from other people's sucky experiences. But one of my most recent ones, and this is why I think that everyone can future-proof their income with YouTube. I run a service-based business. I run an agency, guys. So a lot of my income up till the last few years because of YouTube has lived or breathed based on me having client work. So last year, 2020, I made $30,196.84 from being on YouTube between sponsorships and stuff. And I have this whole like little like section in here about like how I did it, what it looks like, and all that fun stuff. So there's lots of I really like my book to just share it. Like it's different. It's not. This isn't how to unfuck your marketing or Jay Bayer or any of that kind of stuff. Like this is a true story of someone who's been through a lot of suck, and I think that you can probably resonate with it.
It's good.
So I hope you like it.
It's real life. It is not sugar coated. It's definitely.
No.
Yeah,
No.
so definitely, I'm recommending it to everybody, man. This is absolute value. When people are sharing from a very real place, that's to me always the best type of value that I look for, right? Because we don't want the polished, we don't want the highlight reel, we don't want the Hollywood version. We want the uncut, and I think. Just by the title alone, you're kind of catching that's exactly what she sought to deliver with this project. So excited about that. Now,
if you're anything like me, guys, if you are anything like me, I do not read books. I listen to books, so there is an Audible.
There is an Audible.
That you can, so if you don't have Audible yet, you can sign up for Audible's free membership, and you can get a copy of my book for free. Essentially, just listen to it.
Cool.
And since you've introduced me through this way. Probably the best way to consume my book, honestly.
That's cool. I'm gonna send you my address here in just a second. So here's the last question right before we go offline, and that is, what video topic could we collaborate on? And I'm throwing it out there to the audience as well to see if there's any suggestions. I need
to ask you that. What video topic should we collaborate on? I've already come to you to collaborate, man.
That's true. That's true. I'm thinking something. I want to do something around marketing. I think because that's your superpower. And so if we can pair that somehow with like what I'm doing with my business, which for the most part people know me. This is how it all works. I do these videos, I do these live shows, but the business is live video strategy. The business is, virtual conferences, broadcast engineering, production. That's what the business is. And so what I put on my YouTube channel is kind of like gleaning from the business, what I've learned, and just sharing it with people. And just like you said, people see that. They're like, that's phenomenal. This guy really knows what he's doing, but I don't want to do that. So I'd rather pay him to do it. And that's the business. So
there's two sides. We can do this two ways. Here's what I'm thinking. One, we could talk about how to use live streaming to market your business.
I like that.
Or we could do what to look for when you're outsourcing your marketing or live streaming work.
Yes.
See?
Yes. That's a
So-
really good one. So I'm looking at my comments, man. What are you guys saying? Those are two great ones. Those are two great ones right there. Just say the second one again. What to look for when you're outsourcing?
Yeah, what's up when you're outsourcing your marketing and or live streaming?
Ah. And the
Like
other
we
one.
how to market your live stream, or how to market your business with live streaming, something along those lines. So whatever your keywords say, you should do.
I like that.
I'm always
but
making data-driven decisions.
this is great. This is great. So I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna reach out some point this week to see when we can get something on the schedule to just jump in one of these sessions and get something recorded. But of course, we'll go back and forth on some content pieces first. But I love both of those ideas, and I'm thinking, just based on some of the comments, what to look for when
Have to do
outsourcing.
them both.
Yeah. Live stream to market your business. That's a thumbs up from Blind Guy, his wife, their life. I see David Hunt's like, what to look for when outsourcing your live streaming / marketing. That's good. But the quotes are so, it's gold.
How about
here.
this? We'll do this way. We'll cross collab. So we'll do one together for your channel, and then we'll do one together for my channel.
Love it. That's great.
Both get done.
That's great. And that's a great way to and you guys will have to go and watch both. Okay, everybody that's watching the live, and from my replay crew, for the folks who are going to watch the replay of this video, and in the middle of the night for me, but it's a morning for you. Definitely leave your comments below. Talk to us. Let us know. And again, we're planning on doing both of them, but we want to make sure that you're in this process as well. As you already know, I respond to every single comment on my videos. So if you leave that comment below, I will respond to, I will get it, and we will make sure that we get that feedback into what we do with Desiree in this collab video. This was fun. This was a lot of fun. I just can't thank you enough for taking the time to come and hang out with me and the whole HIAW crew here. Man. I'm looking to see, is there any like one final question? We still have like 3 minutes. If there's not a final question, I want to give Desiree a second to just kind of
rapid fire. You need like a rapid fire.
I thought
fire my podcast.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. I mean, and being able to respond, you definitely are able to respond on your toes. That's great. What I want to do here is just to give you an opportunity. I know you plugged your book, but if there's anything else that you want people to know about, things that they can do to support your latest projects, whatever you've got coming out. You've got this podcast, Women of YouTube or YouTube. I totally botched that. Women of YouTube. Okay. But if there's anything that people, where they can find you, follow you, how they can consume more of your content, just give them that real quick.
The best place to go to get all of the Desiree goodness is just mrsdesireerose.com, and you can find me in all of the places online at Mrs. Desiree Rose. I'm happy, like I said.
Rose.
And if you want a video made, just let me know. I'm always looking for new content to make. Like I said, I do 2 a week, so any help from the audience is always appreciated. So
yeah. That is great. Desiree, I'm going to go ahead and close things out here, but stick around. I'm going to after we go offline, I'm going to want to say a couple of words to you, and then open up this Zoom room, see if anybody jumps in.
Nice rooms.
No, they're definitely going to be nice words. But I want to say, while you're still on screen, thank you for coming out, sharing from your considerable years of experience and expertise with the audience today, just talking about different things, different areas that we all need to be more methodical in. And it has been an absolute pleasure to hang out with you for this hour.
No, it's wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. I'll end my time with you the same way on my YouTube channel, my podcast, and it is, until next time, I'll see you soon. You are possibly amazing. Thank you.
Love it. Let me see what we got here. All right, here we go. HIAW family, it's your boy Kirk Nugent. Listen, this one was one for the books. I will be going back to watch this one. Replay Squad, I'm joining you, and I will be commenting as well. This is going to be amazing. Definitely going to be going through, writing down my minute markers to find where those nuggets are and be able to pull some of those things out for repurposing. But man, if there's if there's any questions that you have that we weren't able to answer, please leave them in the comments below. Again, as I mentioned earlier, we are just shy of 3,000 subscribers, and we're trying to hit that mark. As you know, we've got some goals that we're trying to meet by the end of the summer, and we're well on our way to hitting those goals. So whatever we can do, like, share, subscribe, definitely hit that bell so that you know when we go live and when we have new videos. We have new content every weekend. We have our live show Convos and Collabs on Mondays. We've got the midweek huddle, like a virtual co-working space where we just answer questions and we just hang out together in the middle of the week. That's Wednesdays at 12:30 Central Time. And then on Fridays, we have the virtual cafe, and that one is kind of a mixed bag. Tons of value, very interesting conversation and content, always a good time. And so check us out Friday nights. I don't have an actual time for that one. That one is just late. And again, if you haven't already, consider membership. Kirk Nugent, buymeacoffee.com/Kirk R. Nugent. And that's where we're doing our membership. And if you haven't gotten your ticket for the Q&A session, you might want to go do that right now. For my supporters on BMAC, you probably already have an email in your inbox. Go ahead and click that link because we're getting ready to start the Zoom. It's your boy Kirk Nugent, the Geek Speaker Preacher, hoping that somewhere in the video today, somewhere while we were having this conversation with Desiree Rose, that you were able to peek behind the veil a little bit. You're able to see those puzzle pieces come together. You had your aha moment with the light bulb going on. Essentially what we're saying is we hope that you were able to figure out how it all works. And we'll see you in the next video.